Well, for the very first time, as I'm reporting Arsenal news, I'm really confused. I'm in a confused state. The manager of Arsenal has gone ahead and told us, while talking to Sky Sports via the Football Daily, that Nketiah is out, Gabriel Jesus is out, then Leandro Trossard is also out. That's what he has told us. And the only players we are hopeful to see in the game of Fulham, Tierney and Odegaard, because for those, he told us that if at all they train today, they'll be available in the beautiful game of football they're going to play tomorrow or today at Craven Cottage. And guess what? Later the night, just like 2 hours ago, we get a story coming in from an Arsenal correspondent known as Charles Watts, working for goal, being fed in by the club, briefed in by the club, confirming to us that Jesus and Leandro Trossard might find themselves into the game of Fulham today. Guys, which is which? This time round, I'm going to give my explanation and I'm going to leave the ball over to you to really take it where you want. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Martin Odegaard has trained today. Tierney has to train today. I've seen someone coming onto my video and that I did like 3-4 hours back telling me that Odegaard has trained, but by the time of recording, the photos of Odegaard were nowhere to be seen in the 21 pics that Arsenal had released on their website. That's it. And I went there, checked them out, and Martin Odegaard was nowhere to be seen. And sometimes I don't want to come out and really show you these photos because you people have already seen them on social media. All what you want is what's my view and how do I really go ahead and really dissect these issues that are really running along the side of Arsenal. So let's get this started. And the referee that is going to be in charge of the game of Arsenal, I've gotten his name, named by the PMGOL plus the VAR official. They've been named, and I will dig deep into his history with how he officiates against Arsenal this season. I think you have some bit of luck with this referee, and he might really come in through with this lack of luck for you to win this game of Fulham. So let's get this started and rolling. Now, for Martin Odegaard, Charles Watts has confirmed to us that Odegaard is set to make made to make the squad for Sunday's match against Fulham. That is it. So he's set to make the Sunday's match against Fulham. He was one of the two players that Arteta hinted about, that if at all they train today, then it will be okay for him to go all out and do the needful to see to it that the team finds itself in a proper position of really the captain finds himself in a proper position of really playing the team. Remember, he missed out on the game away in Lisbon because he was ill. The same applies to Tierney, but he's back. And this is the photo of Martin Odegaard that was released late by the correspondent of Arsenal that he trained today. This is Martin Odegaard. You see him training, and this is Tierney in training today, trying to really get ready for the Fulham game. So the photo has been released. Odegaard and Tierney are expected to be part of the squad that is going to travel down to Craven Cottage, that is London. Now, after that, the confusion started. Who started it? It's Mikel Arteta. Let's start with Mikel Arteta. This is what he said in the morning when he was hosted onto the Sky Sports program known as the Football News. He said the following. This is what Mikel Arteta had to say. He said that, sorry about that, on Gabriel Jesus, he had a bad injury and he's been really pushing the boundaries and trying to get the recovery as quick and smooth as possible. The time scale he had has been respected, and it's now more about his feelings, and when he actually demands, he wants to be part of it. Then he went ahead to say the following, that the reality is when he started to do some activities, he's still feeling that he needs a little bit of time. It is a matter of days. Hopefully, yes, more than a matter of weeks. The moment he's ready, he will be thrown onto the field. Now, And there is another story I read. Let me go and really get it. I want to bring it here, and you guys see why we are really into this moment of confusion. There is some bit that has missed out in that story that Miguel talked about Gabriel Jesus, that when he started really knocking around the ball, he started to get pain. And then they had to really tell him, please, let's not proceed with this. And when I see a correspondent of Arsenal coming out and saying that Jesus is really fit to play, then I'm left into a very huge state of confusion, because who is lying to who? For Odegaard and KNTN, we had the hope. That's why I put out a title that Odegaard doubtful. You get, if someone is doubtful, that means there is a probability of him being available and a probability of him not being available. So as it stands, I don't know which is which as far as it stands, because Arteta is giving us a different narrative altogether, and obviously we are getting a different narrative altogether coming in from the rest of the team. The goal is talking about Leandro Trossard and Jesus returning back in time, and they are supposed to be into the game today as Arsenal takes on Fulham at Craven Cottage. So we are a little bit confused, but I'm trying to look for that story of Mikel Arteta where he hinted about Jesus and how he knocked on the ball and he found himself in a position of feeling pain through his knee. Where is it? All right. So I failed to really trace it, but Arteta had told us that Jesus is not yet ready. Now, see what Goal has gone ahead to tell us. This is what Goal has told us, and it's really shocking. It's breaking, and if at all it's true, every Arsenal fan should be really jubilating, because this is huge news and two huge boosts for Arsenal. Charles Watts, the Arsenal correspondent for Goal, has confirmed to us that sources have told Arsenal that Gabriel Jesus could make his return against Fulham tomorrow or today. Leandro Trossard is also said to be included in the squad. Now, the worry has always been, for the previous 2 days or 3 days, that Arsenal is lacking a centre forward. Stories have been put outside there from credible sources of Arsenal. Even Charles Watts told us that Leandro Trossard is expected until we end the international break. That's it. You remember very well briefly that story. For Jesus, they told us that he's not yet ready. But bring us this story of Jesus that he's going to be available today as Arsenal plays Fulham. If it's true and right, because you cannot really downplay his source, having gone outside there and published on the website of the Goal where he works, that means he's getting it from a credible source from the Arsenal hierarchy, because they trust him, they get him the news, and you're waiting to see whether this is going to be true. And if it already happens true, then a 5 fingers out is going to be given to that man, because Arsenal fans are really going to be the most excited fans all over the world. That double injury boost, Jesus and a Trossard making a shock return for the game of Fulham today. Yet throughout the day, they've been rolled out. You get, Mikel Arteta first gave Gabriel Jesus 7 to 10 days. That was last Friday. On Friday, they were 7. On Sunday, they are going to be 9. Has he been trying to keep out something from us, not to be knowing it? That's also possible. You can't rule it out. But if at all they are really back and they're going to play the game against Fulham to that Craven Cottage, that is really going to be a very huge boost for Arsenal. Reason being, that is one of the areas where they lacked quality. You get? In the game of Sporting Lisbon, they played with Martinelli, who led the line. In the game of Bournemouth, they played again with Martinelli. So they need some bit of quality. Why? When you use Martinelli as a centre forward, you lose out a lot on him as a wide forward. That's it. So if Jesus and Trossard are back, that means Trossard will start and then Jesus will come in later. I think that will be the lineup of Arsenal. But there is another story again. There is another gentleman known as Eduardo Hag that has told us that Jesus is going to be available. That's it. So we are getting a story from Eduardo Hagan, you get, and Charles Watts, the correspondent of Arsenal, confirmed to us that Jesus might make it today. Again, Eduardo Hagan is telling us that if, and that's a big if, Jesus returns tomorrow or today, I think we should expect to see him play around 5 or 10 minutes. No chance he starts after such a long layoff. Huge boost for the team. However, this is what we were all waiting for. So it looks like they're no longer even slim chances. There is a huge chance that Jesus is going to go all out. And make out with Arsenal at Craven Cottage. That is today. And if at all is to take part in the game, he'll play 5 to 10 minutes. So my job is to bring you the stories. Your job is to judge and obviously tell me what you think about these stories, because where am I? I'm confused. That's it. That's why I put out a title that Jesus and Trossard return confusion. That's it. Because it's really confusing. The manager rules them out. Then later, a correspondent of Arsenal puts out a story confirming to us that these players are really fit and they are considered to travel to London to play against Fulham. If I thought they were going to play like at Manchester, they would have traveled tonight, would have gotten to know who is part of the match squad. But because they are traveling from London to another London side, they don't need to really travel a day before. So in the morning, will be let known of which player has traveled with the team of Arsenal. And I think at around lunchtime, we would have known who is in, who is out. If at all Jesus has traveled with the squad, will be let or kept in the know here onto this channel known as Rokani Media Football. And then lastly, let's talk about the referee that is going to be in charge of that beautiful game of football between Arsenal and Fulham. Arsenal playing away, Fulham being the host. He's known as David Cote, has been appointed referee for Arsenal's away match against Fulham today with Peter Banks on VAR. So, who is this gentleman and how has he been really refereeing against Arsenal? I've gone ahead to see some games that he has been officiating of Arsenal. The first game this season he officiated of Arsenal was between Brentford and Arsenal. Arsenal won it by 3-0. This is the gentleman. Then the other game that he officiated for Arsenal, it was in December 17th when the World Cup was going to come to an end. Arsenal was beaten by Juventus 2-0. So the other one was against Oxford United. Arsenal beat Oxford by 3-0. We are talking about competitive tournaments. Then Arsenal beat Oxford by 3-0 and Arsenal was playing away. That's it. So most of the games of Arsenal officiated have been away from home. He officiated the game of Arsenal and Everton. Arsenal lost to Everton by 1-0. That is it. So the 3 competitive games of Arsenal that he has gone ahead to officiate, Arsenal has gone ahead to win against Bournemouth away from home, Oxford away from home, and beaten by Everton. So here he comes today to officiate that game of Arsenal. So your thoughts about him are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now, see you later, but I'm calling for your reactions on this Jesus Trossard return confusion that is really blowing up my head. I've shown you everything. Arteta is putting out a different report altogether. Then Charles Watts, a correspondent of Arsenal, putting out a story that is contrary to what Mikel Arteta is telling us. We all knew that Trossard is going to be out until the international break, but he's making a shock return against Fulham, guys. Leave it up to you guys. telling me your thoughts about it. May the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. Good morning and ciao ciao.